Hello, I'm Emerson Brady, and I'm going to be talking about the military entertainment complex, and specifically the movie Wind Talkers, produced in 2002, starring Nicolas Cage. So basically, the military entertainment complex is a relationship between Hollywood and the US military. When a writer or director has a film that they want to produce about the war, they will take it to the US military for funding, and in return, the US military has an appointed liaison filmmaking officer named Phil Stubb, and he reviews and edits the scripts for accuracy. This partnership began in World War II when Roosevelt thought that film would be necessary in garnering support for the war effort. This partnership came about around the same time as movie theater participation boomed as well. So it's kind of a match made in heaven. Filmmakers really like to use the military for free equipment use, and the film's budget will increase by a lot because the US military's budget is so huge. It's also very difficult to create a war movie without the military budget because of how expensive war movies are to make. Basically, I'll be talking about the movie Wind Talkers, produced in 2002, directed by John Woo. This film is about U.S. Marine Nicolas Cage, who is assigned to protect Ben Yazzie, his Navajo code talker. And Nicolas Cage is kind of battling in his head whether or not he can fulfill his duties and eventually kill the code talker that he was assigned to if he ends up in the wrong hands. This film did not win any awards, and it did not perform very well at box office. Now for some historical context on the Navajo code talkers. They are a select group from the Navajo tribe who helped the U.S. Marines during World War II. Navajo code talkers spoke with the U.S. Marines in their native language so the Japanese couldn't understand them. However, if the Marines lost a code talker to the enemy, they were ordered to kill them. This script was sent to the U.S. military for funding, and the military had a lot of problems with how the Marines were portrayed in the film. They essentially asked the writers to cut any scenes in the that made the Marines seem violent or war criminals, and the writers had to oblige. Of course, this is rewriting history. The Navajo tribe did assist the U.S. Marines, but the code talkers were protected at all costs until they were ordered to be killed. The military forced the writers to gloss over the harm done to the Navajo tribe in making them code talkers. This is, of course, propaganda. As Thomas Hunchkin describes it, it contains false or misleading information, it's addressed to a mass audience, and it displays a very one-sided perspective of the Navajo code talkers. I think that Elmer Davis, a journalist who headed the Office of War Information, really describes the military and Hollywood's relationship well. She says the easiest way to inject a propaganda idea into most people's minds is to let it go through the medium of an entertainment picture when they do not realize that they're being propagandized. For my research, I looked through peer-reviewed journal articles in reputable news sources such as CNN and the Washington Post. I also looked at the propaganda readings from our class. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed.